Welcome to the North Carolina Wesleyan College Writing Center. When choosing sources to include in a research or argument paper, it is important to check their credibility and usefulness. The CRAP test provides an easy-to-remember strategy for deciding if a source will strengthen your paper or if it should be discarded. You're probably asking yourself, what is CRAP? CRAP stands for Currency, Relevance, Authority, Accuracy, and Purpose. Currency refers to the timeliness of a source. Some questions to consider are, what is the time frame of my topic? The types of sources you are able to find may depend on whether your topic is recent, that is covering events of the last week, month, or year, ongoing, covering events that took place in the past and continue into the present, or old, covering events from the past that are considered settled. When was the source published? Older sources that were once relevant may be debunked. Extremely recent sources may not yet be verified. Without a date, it's difficult to judge if a source is reliable. What can an older source add? While it's important to find recent sources, older sources can provide context or show how discussions of a topic have changed over time. Additionally, sources may remain relevant for different time spans in different fields of study. An article from the 80s may be acceptable in a humanities class, but not in a science class. Relevance refers to how closely the source matches your topic and needs. You should ask yourself, does the source relate to my topic? Titles can be deceiving. Read through all sources carefully to make sure they address the topic in a helpful way. Does the source answer any of my questions? A source doesn't have to be directly about your topic. You can find sources that are relevant because they address a single aspect of your larger topic. Does it provide new information? It's possible that a source relates to your topic, but it does not provide you any new information or address the specific questions that you have about it. Does the source change my way of thinking about the topic? One of the most important reasons for doing research and finding sources is to gain new perspectives. These types of sources can add depth to your discussion or change the direction of your argument. Authority refers to the credibility of a source. Questions to consider here include, who is the author? Check the source for information on the author. If it's not provided, do a quick search to find out the author's credentials, if they're qualified to write on the topic, and if they have any organizational affiliations that could change how they write about it. Who published the source? Research the publisher's submission criteria, mission statement and goals, areas of focus, and intended audience. Articles written for experts tend to go through more rigorous peer review for publication. Has the source been cited by other authors I know to be credible? Check other sources that you have already validated and see if they cite this source. Do they agree with the source, or do they have some critiques? Accuracy refers to the correctness, truthfulness, and reliability of a source. Some questions to consider here include, how was the information collected? Analyze the research methods the author used to gather data and information. Research methods could include interviews, questionnaires, field studies, chemical analyses, archival work, literature reviews, etc. Check for potential flaws or biases in the author's approach. What evidence is provided to support any findings or claims? Use the CRAP test on sources used to support the author's claims. Be wary of anecdotal and emotional evidence. Can I verify the source's findings and claims? Review other sources on your topic to see if they came to the same conclusions as the main source you're working with. The final criteria in the CRAP test is purpose. Purpose refers to the motives for the creation of a source. Questions to consider here include, what type of media is the source? Knowing what media you're looking at can help you determine the purpose of the source. Most writing is done to fulfill at least one of these purposes: share knowledge, inform, sell, entertain, persuade. Be aware that some sources try to do many things at once. Who is the intended audience? The intended audience can affect how a source is written and what information is included. Sources meant for experts contain more field-specific jargon and follow accepted formatting and style guidelines. Sources meant for laypeople may simplify a topic and exclude important information. For example, an article on climate change found in a newspaper will not have the same depth or detail as an article in a scientific journal, because most of the audience does not have the educational background needed to understand it. The audience's reasons for reading are also different. The newspaper audience reads to stay generally informed, and the scientific journal audience may build their research on the findings of what they read. Is the information fact, opinion, or propaganda? Analyze the tone and language of the source to pinpoint any possible biases. Fact-based sources tend to use an objective tone and logical arguments. Opinions and propaganda tend to lean heavily on emotional appeals and personal experience. However, some authors adopt a false objectivity to seem more factual. For this reason, it's important to make sure you use the previous CRAP criteria to evaluate all sources. Let's look at a few examples. Pretend you're writing an argument on procrastination among college students and you've started looking for sources. You can do a quick CRAP test just by analyzing the first page of the source. Here, you found what appears to be a journal article. First, let's check for currency. If we look in the upper left-hand corner, we can see that this was published in 2019. That's pretty recent, so it's safe to say this article is current. To check for relevance, the first thing to do is to read the title. Most titles will include the main topic. This one mentions procrastination and specifically talks about the academic setting. To make certain the source is relevant, read through the abstract. It explains that it was a study conducted on university students that links academic performance to procrastination. Based on this description, this source is relevant. To check for authority, try to find information on the authors. These authors all appear to be professors at a university. If we Google their names, we find that some of the authors have written other articles on the topic. We can also look at the journal. This article was published in the International Journal of Educational Psychology. Doing research on it shows that the journal is peer-reviewed and has been around for decades. This appears to be an authoritative source. To check for accuracy, we can review the abstract and see what the authors tell us about what research methods they use to collect and analyze their data. If we find other sources that use these methods or agree with their findings, we can assume this source is accurate. Finally, to check for purpose, we can look in a few places. First, the publisher focuses on publishing scientific journals. Second, the abstract tells us that this article is meant to share research data with the reader. Based on this information, the purpose is to inform. After completing our CRAP test, we can conclude that this is a good source for our argument. Now let's look at another source. This article was written in 2017, so it's a little older. However, our topic, procrastination in college, spans a large time frame, so we can still conclude that it's current. Looking at the title, it's difficult to tell what the article is about, but if we read the subtitle and then the first few paragraphs, it's clear that this does cover procrastination. While it doesn't speak directly about college students, the general information about the topic could still be relevant. Let's not count it out yet. The article was published in the Straits Times, an English-language newspaper in Singapore. The location could be problematic due to different cultural views on the topic, but we would need to read more before discarding it based on that. The author has a short biography at the end of the article that claims that he has 14 years of experience, but it doesn't specify where that experience comes from. Googling his name brings us information on an award-winning photographer, but even that may not be this author. Unfortunately, we cannot verify the authority of this article. Accuracy may also be difficult to verify. The author mentions scientists, but does not provide any sources or other outside evidence anywhere in this article. The author doesn't clearly state the purpose of the article either, so we need to do some reading. The headings of each section are written as commands or suggestions, do this, do that, making this feel like an advice or an opinion column. While this source might be useful, you will need to review your assignment sheet and talk to your professor before including it in your paper. As we've seen, looking at the first page of a source is usually enough to help you determine if it passes the CRAP test. If you're still unsure, read through the full source or ask your professor. Thanks for watching! A companion handout on evaluating sources, the CRAP test, can be found on our website. If you have any questions about this or any other writing topic, please visit us in the Writing Center. We're located in the Pearsall Library, room 146. Face-to-face and online appointments can be made at ncwc.mywconline.com. We look forward to working with you.